Okay, thank you, John. I can see your hand. So let's
Okay, thank you.
continue. Now, in the course of going through your career journey, or even applying for jobs, or being in the market, you're going to see these three distinct roles: business analyst, data analyst, and IT or system analyst. These are three different roles, and let's see basically how these roles relates to each other, especially data analyst. Now, we of course, I'll just rush through basically. Now, business analysis is basically focused on identifying needs and driving change, right? Um, Using business data like Theory said, to provide various types of information needed to implement change on an organizational level. Data analytics or data analyst is using data to reveal patterns, trends, risk, and opportunities, draw conclusions about hypotheses, and support business decisions with data-driven insights. That is one definition that explains these two roles perfectly in a very clear manner. One is about using business data to implement change within an organization or meet with needs. The other is very, very concerned with really revealing trends, patterns, risk, and opportunities. And all the decision that happens in data analysis um, are objective decisions, basically based on data-driven insights. We have a lot of subjective and objective decision also in business analysis. So while business analysis can use both objective and subjective decisions, in data analysis is basically objective, driven by insights from data. So when you see these two roles in the job market, you know they are actually two distinct. But in a project, you will see both of them working together. For example, in the current project I'm in, we have a data team that handles all the outshoot of the legacy data that has come out from some ERPs. They refine it, they map it, they do what we call ETL. Um, I think is I'm forgetting what the E means now, but I think is uh, something transform and load. I'll get that later, but they go through a process of getting the data, transforming it, and loading it into the ERP. So that's one. And of course, they try to get more insights into data following trends. That's the core role of data analyst. But business analyst use some of these insights that data analysts have actually gotten to make also both objective and subjective decisions. So we need the data analyst to do our jobs, but before the data analyst will get the data, the BA has to gather the requirements, engage with stakeholders, and provide most times the data that the data analyst needs to do their work. In projects, that's the flow. The people you see start a project are the BAs, and the BA, of course, will have conversations with the data guys. The data guys will give them an idea of what kind of data they want. They gather this information and relate back to the data analyst who will use this data and go through their data cleansing cycle or data transformation cycle, and upload it, or give back that information to the BA who will also communicate that to the business. The person who stands in between the IT and business is the BA. The data guy might be somehow, maybe you might need to get advice from the data guys what based on the insights they have actually gotten from the data they have analyzed. So there are a lot of things. Defining goals for project requirements is usually more predictive and prescriptive approach. Stakeholder management, data research, and other tools. These are required skills. This is the goal. This is the approach, and these are required skills. So for the required skills for a BA, You have, all this stakeholder management, Office, SAP, project management. For required skills for data analysts, you see data mining, expertise, machine learning, data framework. You see, there are two different, their goals are different, their approaches are different, and the required skills are different. So so that if you see these two roles, you don't confuse them. Then we have business analyst and what we call business system analyst, which is basically IT analyst, right? You can see that the BAs, we know it's about process improvement, stakeholder communication, requirements gathering. The business system analyst or IT analyst are focused on technical roadmap, process mind maps, and quality assurance. We'll see briefly how these two sits. So why I'm sharing this with you is so that you're informed. So that when you see these roles in the market, right, you would weigh them to your skills you have gathered. You are a business analyst and you are supposed to understand some things about data analysis. You're also expected to understand some things about IT analysis, which is more of the technical side of things. So a BA understands, we're going to see the skills that are required, the competency for a business analyst. One is the behavior or personal qualities. Two, the business knowledge. And three, the technique, sorry, that's a mistake, and technical know-how. Now, a BA, if you say you're a BA, for those who want to now come into the career, who want to be business analysts, these are the three most important things, skill sets or competencies that is required of you. So you understand. First is you need to carry the behavior. You need to get there. Like I was reading a book, BCS, it says that as a business analyst, your behavior is more important than your skill because you will work with people. You will have to manage people. You will have to manage different stakeholders at different levels. If you don't have the right behavior, then your skills do not matter because nobody wants to work with you or give you information you want. So when we say, just like John said, when he was explaining how the BA come in between, imagine you're a BA, you're supposed to be the middleman between IT and business, and you're having issues with the IT department head, or you're having issues with the one of the top manager in the business, you're going to fail. BA role is people facing. In fact, you will be frustrated if you don't have the right attitude and character of a BA. In the next 2 or 3 class, we're going to talk about the BA mindset. It's a very interesting time or subject. Most of us, we need to change. We might need to transform. We might need to change our minds to be able to sit in this role because the role is very. You need a lot of emotional intelligence to sit as a BA. You also need to know how to communicate clearly. You need to know how to solve problems on the go. You need to have personal development drive. You have to constantly learn. You need to have some analytical and critical thinking skills. You need to be a team player. Most of the IT guys they like working on their own. But if you're coming into the BA space, you need to be able to work with a lot of people. You need to have attention to details. And these skills are very, but like I said, as you guys have also accepted, the BA is in the middle between IT and business. And IT and business are people. They're not departments, they're houses, they are people. So need to have the right behavior to get the information you need from these two sets of people to be able to do your work. If you don't have that, then you're going to have it's going to be very challenging. For business knowledge, you need to understand the domain. You need to understand the system. You need to be an SME in a process. You need to understand you need to understand the domain in terms of the how do I put it now? the environment where you're working in. It could be if you're working in a manufacturing sector, you need to understand what happens in a manufacturing sector. If you have to also be specific. If you're working in the manufacturing sector, is it production? Is it finance? Is it costing? Is it engineering? So BA is not a wide range role. At some point, you need to specialize in one aspect because, for example, guys, if I'm sitting between, let's say, for example, in the example I gave, it's an issue between the CFO and the IT. I'm supposed to be in the middle. It is going to be very frustrating for a non-finance person to discuss finance process with a CFO. You will not, in fact, at some point, that is one of the issues we have with failed projects. Because if in the absence of the BA, if the IT guys try to communicate with the CFO will use terminologies and jargons that they don't understand. And that's the beginning of failure. Once communication is broken down, then the outcome will not be acceptable. So the BA that should be discussing with CFO is not a BA that has engineering background. It's not a BA that has medical background. It's a BA that understands finance. Because where the CFO will be saying things at a very high level, because at stakeholder management, that's where he's sitting. He's sitting at a very high level. Expect that his conversations will be high level, except you're talking to maybe an officer, then they can be able to break things. They don't have the time to break things down for you. Some people get away with it because they go with questionnaires, and once the CFO just feels them, yeah, they can now leverage that. But in having one-on-one conversations, you will need to also improve your skills. So if you're coming as a BA, a general BA to sit in IT, there are general BAs that do general things. But if the requirement is more specific to a certain type of career, then they will need a BA who is also more specific to that career set. We have BAs that are in project, for example, if the project is website development, it's a general thing, right? You might not find a BA that is a developer or a BA. So any BA can sit in that role. It's just that you need to spend a lot of time researching and reading and learning about website development. If not, you won't succeed. That's why the role of a BA is a role for people who want to constantly learn, because you will be in different projects. The project can be CCTV installation. The project can be, fixing construction. The project can be manufacturing. Once you're put into a project where you're not you're not an SME or you don't have domain knowledge, you're now left to go and read and study about that industry so that you can grab as much information as you want. So that's why domain knowledge and SME system knowledge. If you are, for example, part of this course will be learning SAP. However, you can join a project where the system is Dynamics or Sage or Oracle or any of these ERPs. It's left for you as the BA to quickly upskill in that area because you need to understand how the system works. Remember, the BA is sitting between IT and business. If the project is about Azure DevOps, you need to go and read, you need to go and study on what Microsoft DevOps is before you can confidently advise or sit in the middle. Imagine you cannot sit in the middle if you cannot interpret for the two parties. So I hope you understand now why the role of a BA is very, very challenging. It just depends on the project you find yourself in. For technical knowledge, you need to understand project and strategy management. You need to understand the agile thinking. You need to be very good at stakeholder management. You need to have technical knowledge. You need to know how to, get the do fit gap analysis from the assist and the to be. You need to know how to do process mapping. You need to know how to do solution analysis, a whole lot more, right? So this is what is expected of a BA. So you see, it's not an easy role. And the IT guys might stay on one end. They might have the technical knowledge, but they don't have domain knowledge. They don't have business knowledge. Most of them don't also have the required personal behavior on how to manage business. That's the problem why project fails. If you leave the BA and you say the technical guys to go and implement, the technical guy understands some technicalities, but he might not have the right behavior to discuss with stake. I've been in a project where a senior consultant walks out of the meeting and bangs the door because a stakeholder, he didn't like what a stakeholder said. I've been in a meeting where a senior, a stakeholder online is telling people to, if they are not interested, they can leave the meeting, others will stay. So the problem is most of these technical guys very good at their job, but some of them lack a lot of behavioral skills within in implementing projects. And it's one of the issues we have also in the IT industry. So you see them, they are very good. They can configure the system back to back, but they cannot sit in board meetings because if the stakeholders push them too far, they can just walk out or they can use words. They might not be emotionally intelligent enough to manage those conversations. That is where the BA sits. That's why most times technical guys would always push the BAs to go and do all they need to do. For them, they just want to get that feedback and do what they need to do. So if you have questions, remember you can put this. Okay, for the want of time, this is not exhaustive, but this is like a career path, how you can grow within the BA space. But there are a lot of other paths, right? I mean, there are a lot of roles. But you start from a junior, you get to a business analyst, you move to senior, you move to principal, you move to manager, you move to head. There are also business architects. There are also different branches of the path. But this is just giving you an idea of how you can grow within the business analysis space. So it's a career on its own where you might need to, based on experience, you can start as a BA. You might not actually have to start from the junior role, or you can even start from a senior business. If you have a lot of domain knowledge and you have a lot of system knowledge, you might skip some of these steps. It's just all based on experience and exposure. But this is a path you most likely go through when you're coming into this space. And another road that leads to the BA space are two very important roles. So most BAs, when they get to maybe the principal level or the senior level, they might want to move into product management or project management because most of what they do, they work closely with these two guys. BAs work very closely with the project managers or the managers if they are within an agile project. So they can branch out at any point to these two roles. They just need to upskill and make sure they are developed enough to handle, the technicalities that comes with this role. So yes, BAs already understand projects, they already understand stakeholders, they already understand technical requirements. They can really grow to become project managers or product managers. So it's a very exciting career that has it has a very good path if you move up that ladder. So if we this is just showing us our model, how business analysis, the kind of model or tools, business, like how do we drive projects within the business analysis space? What kind of tools do we use? What kind of models do we use? These are some of the models we use, SWOT analysis, business process modeling, stakeholder mapping, user story mapping, gap analysis. So in projects, and of course, some of us who would run through this class, we will do most of these things because at the end of the day, once we kickstart our project, we're going to start from day one. You have been employed as a business analyst what do you do day one? So you're going to start, and we're going to have simulations or live projects you're also going to be managing towards the end of this class. So take note of these things. You're going to see some of them as we move on. Let's look at some of the tools that coming into this career, just like every other career, there are tools or there are things you need to learn. So it's not just about learning about business analysis, it's knowing how to use the tools. So you see that the career will stretch you a little, right? Because if you're coming as a if you say you're a business analyst, there are tools that is expected that you should know how to use. One is Visio. Visio is a process mapping tool, yeah, and you can use them to map processes. I'm going to show you, of course, when you start your work, you will be mapping processes yourself. It's not me that will do it for you. So some of these tools you might need to research and start reading about them and start preparing because you are going to use them. Some of them will give you the link for how to download them. Some of them, we'll share that link as we go on. Jira is also a very important tool that is used to manage issues that arise from, projects, bugs, and all that. So if during your requirement gathering session, you can also use them to gather requirements, and manage issues and bugs that arise from projects. Rally is also similar. Confluence is also similar. So there's Microsoft Project, there is Azure DevOps, there is Agile, which comprised of, Scrum, Kanban, and the rest of them, and there is Signavio. So it's expected that you will make sure you have hands-on in some of these tools, hands-on experience with some of these tools. In this project, we're going to be using some of these tools. We're going to be using Visio, we're going to be using maybe Jira if we have access, Azure DevOps, some of those we're going to use, of course, some D365 tools, Agile we're going to use. So we're going to use some of these tools and we're going to enjoy the journey, and also some technical tools. Data analysis is one, SQL, process modeling, requirements management or engineering, agile methodologies. These are also test and quality assurance, prototyping, wireframe, business analysis, of course, UML. So giving you that picture, right? Hopefully, as you move, we'll pick some of these tools, but there are basic ones you need to know, very basic ones. Those ones we're going to pick up in the training. And of course, as you move on, you're going to not all these. So a disclaimer: you don't need to know all these things, but as time goes on, we're going to show you and guide you into the tools that you'll be needing for your work, and you can always learn them. You can always learn them, right? So you're not limited. Okay, for certification part for a business analyst, of course, you have the first things first. For those who have subscribed, you're on the right path. You're going for a formal training. So after the training, there are two major certifications. You can do either of them. Either you go for CBAP, which is managed by IIBA, or you go and do BCS, which is Foundation Certificate for Business Analysts. BCS is Chartered Institute for IT. These are the two leading certification hubs for business analysts. For me, I'm a certified business analyst with IIBA, so I have my CBAP. I'm actually, of course, I have the BCS. I even have the textbook or so, probably just glancing through. So you need to, in order to solidify your stand, you don't need to get certification to get a job, but as you work, you can see the career path. As you climb up the ladder, you will need to get it at some point because it will also help you, help you sell yourself very well. So take note of them. You might need to do one of them in the future. Okay, so before SAP, I think there's something I want to do briefly, and that is take us to the market. Then by next class, we'll talk about SAP and we will see how that fits into this conversation. So let's do an experiment. Let's go into one of these job platforms and see how the BA role is faring, in different countries. So for example, I'm going to go to my LinkedIn and just check. We're going to see the kind of some will provide you with the salary ranges. We're going to see what it looks like. And for those who do not have a LinkedIn profile active, please, it's very, very important that before the end, if you're going to be part of this class, before the end of the session, you need to have an active professional profile online, right? LinkedIn is a very, very good platform. Since I joined LinkedIn, 99.9% of my jobs have come from LinkedIn. Even the one I'm currently doing came from LinkedIn. So if you don't have an active LinkedIn profile and you're not active and you're not connecting with people, with talent recruiters, you are very wrong, right? If you need that visibility to get employed. So please create a LinkedIn profile, add your experiences, connect with people. For example, I'm going to teach you how to find a job here. So in LinkedIn, there's a search button just at the top. If I click this search, I can just say business analyst. So I put a business analyst. It will ask me, what are you looking for? Are you looking for jobs, posts, people, service, groups, courses, products, school, events, or companies? I'm looking for jobs. So I go to jobs. Then it will tell me location. Are you looking for jobs in the UK? Or so we can do UK and Canada or any other country as you want. But let's just stick to UK and Canada, for example, or France, for those who are in France or any other Arab country. So immediately I do that, you ever have the options, the date it was posted, the experience level, the salary, the company, the remote, whether it's remote, whether it's easy apply. So I'm going to go to the date. I want the last 24 hours. And I'm going to, so for the last 24 hours in the UK, we have 74 jobs that carry business analysis role. So I'm going to click on it. Yeah, so you have these jobs, right? You have senior business analyst or finance analyst, business analyst, payments, senior, you see IT delivery analyst, business process automation analyst, um, business process analyst, senior business analyst. So let's pick a role, for example. Let's pick this role, senior business analyst. Okay, pick this role. Now, when you do it, you see automatically alert. So you see that anytime a new one comes, I'm already alerted. So you might need to turn that on. So let's look at the job description. So you can see that the role here is £55 per hour. So what they're going to be paying this BA is £55 per hour. So if you work 8 hours, you're already earning over £400 per day. That's huge, which is good. So if you look at the responsibilities of a senior business analyst, provide experience in information governance, collaborate with stakeholders and gather and analyze business requirements, a people person. So this is just something I did random. And from this class, I've always said that I told you guys that business analysis is people facing. One of your undoing would be if you be to learn those skills I showed you, personal skills, they are very, very important. So you have to be a people person. Previous experience. So first of all, we said business analysis is between process, systems, and people. If you see in this description, we have process information governance, data and document migration projects. We have people collaborate with stakeholders. Then we have systems, experience in implementing SharePoint, record center sites for record. So process again will be workshops, meetings, interviews, like somebody says, managing meetings. Another process will be build process flow, which is part of the skills. Part of all these things are in the skills we talk. Experience using Microsoft Project. Remember, I said here that one of the skills you need to know is Microsoft Project and business process flow. You need to know how to map business processes. The next is host, chair, and manage project and stakeholder engagement. Very, very important, like somebody said. Highly accountable and driven, ability to drive forward projects while maintaining key relationships with stakeholders and tech community. Guys, BA is in between business and IT. So it's just confirming all that I've said, that you need to. The BA sits in between these two guys. The second is you need to use methodologies like Agile and Waterfall. Then strong knowledge in Microsoft, this should be M3, Microsoft Dynamics 365 suite. Then act as a liaison between stakeholders and technical team. They repeated this twice. So you can see now that we don't need to go far. From this job description, it has explained everything we have learned about business analysis today. That indeed, it's someone who can stay in between these two people. We can go on and check all the jobs, but there are, did I say 45K? Okay, so this is 55 pounds per hour. Let's check this one. This will be for contract jobs. So anytime you see per hour, you know it's contract jobs. If we check this one, business analyst, this is 48K per year. So as a BA in the UK, yeah, I mean, if you've your experience, you should be doing anything less than 40,000 per year. Yeah, so this is 48K per year, full time. 16 people have applied for this. This is in Milton Keynes in the UK. You will see it's the same job description. Support, elicitation, documentation, detailed functional specification, use cases and user stories, which we're going to learn. Collaborate with technical team to ensure that requirements are understood and translated into system design and functionality. Well, I think with this, you have no doubt now exactly what the role of a BA is. And the market is very huge. You can see in the last 24 hours, we can go and check other sites. In the last 2 months, you probably see 1,000. If I change this to maybe past months, you will see 931 jobs for BA in a month. So if you're experienced, really, you don't, I mean, when I came into the UK, not trying to brag, but 1 week into my sitting in the UK, I actually had an offer. So it's really about just building, have a strategy. If you want to change careers, have a strategy, give yourself the next 6 months or 3 months based on your experience level and based on your area of specialization. Once you're able to know how to do these things by learning and by experience, I don't think you have a job. I don't think you have problems with getting jobs if you're in this part of the world, like the UK and Europe. This is just UK. Just briefly before we go, let's just try another country. Let's try the Canada. You're also going to see another role like digital business analyst. Now, see what a business analyst earn or should earn in Canada. This is $85 per hour to $100 per hour for a business analyst in Canada. So let's say you're experienced and you do the $100 per hour. So in 8 hours, you have 800 If you multiply it times 7 and times 4, you know how much you earn in a year. So not just that the skill is very much available in the market, it is also a very good paying opportunity. It's a very good job. I take that from me, right? It's a very good job. And if you join global projects outside your salary, you really get to travel around the world because you need to be, BA has to be there physically present. So, for example, if you're doing requirement gathering in the US or in the UK, you need to go there physically at some point. So BAs are also those who are also who are also open to travel abroad and travel to other countries to do their job. So having said all this, I don't need to convince you that business analysis is a very, very lucrative skill. You can see this job responsibility is, quite straight to the point. Collaborate with finance SME to gather requirements, user acceptance test, implement financial systems, provide training and support, strong stakeholder relationship. It's always about the business and the process. So anybody who is in Canada who has some finance background, you can see finance is here. So you might need to be an SME have some finance background. You can see also the qualification, degree in finance, 7 years experience, understand. These are finance related activities, strong analytical and problem solving skills. So this is just a confirmation of everything that I've said about the role and responsibility of a BA. So I think thank you very much, guys. In our next class, because of time, we try to stick to time in our classes. In our next class, we're going to be looking at SAP as one of the ERPs we're going to be using as so like I said, you can see that in the job description, you might work in, remember what we checked, the first job we checked, it was SharePoint. It might be SAP, it might be Dynamics, it might be Oracle, it might be anything. But the requirement is, by experience, the requirement is that if you are going to be in the BA space, you need to know at least one ERP. You need to know at least one software because it's system. So if you don't go with anything, go with this thing that BA aligns systems, process, and people. So you need to know at least one system. You need to understand process. So what we're going to be learning in this, you need to know how to manage people. So all we're going to be learning for the next 2 months of this course is how to do these three things, how to work with system. The system we're going to be using will be SAP. We might have towards the end, so what we do most times is when I have projects to manage, I will require some BAs from my class to be part of that project to start understanding real life how this happen. I have a project hopefully coming up in December stroke January to implement a software we call Sage. So if I just show you a sample of what it looks like. So if I go to Sage, uh, Sage One Cloud, and let me go to Google. Okay, Sage One. So this is the system we're going to be using after learning. I hope to involve you in this project, which you're going to be doing live. So where's the login now? Okay. So let me show you what it looks like. So if I go to a demo company, for example, so we're going to be involved in a real life IT project. This is what the system looks like. So remember, I told you that as a BA, if you're going to be involved in a project, you need to understand the system. So one of the tasks you're going to be doing as part of preparing for that project we're going to be having is to understand how this system works. How are you going to do that? Well, you can use research, you can use videos, you can use any means, but you need to understand how the system works. It's similar to SAP, but smaller. So the client has approached me that they need to, they're currently on Excel. They want to know, they're currently on Sage, but the Sage they have is on, it's on desktop in the quote. It's resident. The server is resident in their office, so they want to move to the cloud. So is a need they have identified. They are currently working within the office, and their server is stationed within. They can't take work outside the office. So now it's an issue because they have I think the information I got is they have started getting other projects outside the state. So they need to be able to work in the cloud and work from anywhere. So you can see that as a BA, that's a need that the organization has. And we are supposed to help them achieve that goal of making sure that they're able to work from anywhere. So the at a very high level, the requirement I've gotten, that's the simple requirement I've gotten. Currently, we work from the office and our server is in the office, because this was a conversation between me and, of course, a very high, very close to the CFO. We very close to CEO. We want to move our operations to the cloud. We want to move our system to the cloud. Okay, that's good. It's something we can do. Now, I need BAs. Of course, I'm going to pick some of you based on your based on your behavior and your skills. I'm going to need some of you to also be part of that project. So we're going to everything we will learn. We're going to now put it real life, because this is a real life scenario. You're going to be doing visibility studies, business case, process mapping, requirement gathering. You're going to be doing all that for real, because we need to implement this project for this business. So I'm going to be needing some of you to be part of that activity, so you kind of have a feel of what it looks like. So this is an example of the cloud solution they are requesting for. So we're going to start that journey. But before we get to this point, we need to now baptize you in business analysis, right? Give you the right behavior, the business knowledge, and the technical knowledge before you can join me in implementing this project. Because I need you to start. I need in our next classes, we're going to learn about the PA mindset. I won't start teaching you anything about business and you start using the tools if I don't teach you one very important topic, agile and the BA mindset. These are two things I make sure I teach my students before we go into project, because there are a lot of people who have issues, who do not understand that they are sitting in between business and systems, and they go and mess this up. They go and behave in a way they can't get information they need, because either they're always complaining, or they're fighting with one of the stakeholders, or they don't know how to, they have not done a stakeholder assessment or a communication plan to even know how to get the information they need by stakeholder. Because all stakeholders, you can't approach them the same way. You have to come up with a communication strategy for every stakeholder. Some stakeholders might need a call, some might need text message, some might
नहीं
need
नहीं नहीं
email.
32 से 32 है मेरा.
Yeah,
हाँ,
sorry. You
हाँ.
can mute your mic, please. So you need to be
इस
able
वाले में
to
एक
do
बार
that.
एल देखो ना कौन सा है. अच्छा
Sorry,
अच्छा
guys. I
क्या
think
होता
I
है.
need to mute.
फ्री फायर होता है
Please,
क्या.
can you mute yourself?
अच्छा तो नहीं फ्री फायर.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. So these are things that you need to actually do before you go into projects, right? You need to understand how this works. So you don't just send email to any stakeholder. Before you actually start communicating, you need to come up with a communication plan. This stakeholder, what kind of communication would he prefer or she prefer? Depending on, you need to come up with a stakeholder metrics, to rank stakeholders according to their level of influence and power in a project before you even know how to approach them. So there are lots that happens, right? You need to be able to map processes. If I open my Visio, for example, you need to be able to tell me end to end, and the process we map is end to end. So if I open, let me see, I'm not sure there's anything here. Let me check. So this is an example of Visio. Let me see if, yeah, so it's just basically just showing. So you're able to, if for example, we go for assist requirement gathering, how do you currently, for example, pay customers? Well, we need to get invoice, we need to get this, we need to get this. If we don't get this, somebody needs to make a decision. You need to map those processes end to end because the technical guys don't understand English. That's one thing you also learn. If you're discussing with the technical team, there's a language they understand. They don't understand English, especially when it comes to processes. You have to put it in a form that is easy for them to understand. If you don't put it in that form, you have issues with working with them. So these are some of the things you will face in a real life project, right? If you want to communicate with a technical guy, they will tell you, please, can you give me the process, give me the business process for this. It's not to write English. It's about business process engineering. So these are some of the things you will need to learn to be able to for you to actually be a BA. And it's very important. You need to have the right character, you need to have the right skills, and you need to understand the system. And hopefully by next week, we're not going to be picking up from where we stopped. We'll look at SAP as one of the systems we're going to use, like I've said, but for the project we'll have towards the end of December and January because they want to go live. They want to start using this system the first week of January. So of course, we're going to have a hands-on. We are going to be getting data from them, invoices, assets, items, all those reports we're going to get. We're going to also do data mining, data engineering, data sorting. All of you who will be involved will be doing those things, right? So like I said, my class is not just about saying things, but we need to prepare you. But you actually going to be involved in a live project that involves Sage, which is another ERP you should have learned. When the time comes, I'm going to tell you how to go about that, and we're going to have a project plan for that. But as we look forward to that, we need to go through this session to prepare you for that activity. Then I believe at the end, when you go out there and get jobs, you should have been prepared you should have understood that BA is about systems, process, and people. You should have understood how to align them to achieve the goals of the project. So, just a just as we go, just put this at your heart. One of the things that drives our conversation is the agile mindset, which we're going to learn. So, I mean, thank you very much, guys. Let's look forward to meeting next week. Yeah, please, if you have a question, I think that's the next thing. Chori, you have a question? Yeah, sure. This is a recorded session. Surely you will have that. Okay, any questions? Okay, so in the absence of any other questions, I want to say a very big thank you to all of you who found the time to join. And why not? You can, if you want to reach me, I will just drop my WhatsApp number. You can, in case you want to be part of this. How long will the class run? For 2 months. This session is for 2 months. So by January, some of us will have to be part of that project that is coming up, but I need to prepare you guys before that. Please, you can reach me on WhatsApp only. Drop my number if you want to be part of the session. Yeah, sorry. Anything about cost and duration, just reach me on my WhatsApp. Yes, just weekends only. We don't do classes on weekdays, but for the project we're going to have in December stroke January, we might have to be catching up, 1 or 2 days within the week. Yeah, but for this session, only on Saturdays. But you can please just send me a WhatsApp and we can continue the conversations there. So please, your feedbacks are well appreciated. Thank you very much, everyone. We're 20 minutes ahead of time. Please do well to reach me if you have any questions or concerns, and we'll pick it up from there. This class will also be open next weekend for those who want to continue, but after next